All right, you made it to the next video. That tells me that you are interested in learning how to count cards. And if you want to become a professional card counter, the very first thing you need to know is what's called basic strategy. And I'm sure that some of you probably have a pretty good idea of what some of these hands are, but for every single hand that you are dealt, there's exactly one correct decision, whether it's a hit, stand, double down, split, or even surrender, as to what you're supposed to do when it comes to that hand. All right, so this is going to be a chart that's going to be my free gift to you. This is one that I penciled in because I have it available as the one you can see here on the screen, all right, in a nice color format that you could print out if you want, as well as this one, which I printed out and I filled in the blanks. So there's a filled in one, a blank one, as well as there's even a spot to put different phrases, which you can learn if you join my card counting course here at the end of this mini course. All right, so to go over a few hands there, I want to go over all of the pairs to help you decide what you should and shouldn't do and which decisions to make when it comes to being the correct decisions, right? So for example, all my pairs, if I start with a pair of twos, I'm gonna get all of the dealer's potential up cards up here to help me, just like this. All right, so we have 2 through ace. This is just one suit. This is all the spades here. And if I have a pair of twos, the correct decision is that we're going to split our twos against a dealer's 2 through 7. All right, against the dealer's 2 through 7, we're going to split those. And against 8 through ace, we are going to hit them. So split by putting double the money out against 2 through 7. And we're just going to hit if it's any other dealer's up card. All right. So that's the twos. What about the threes? Let's keep going through these here. A pair of threes is the exact same thing. In fact, twos, threes, and a pair of sevens, you all split against the dealers 2 through 7, and you hit against the rest. Let's take those out now. And what about a pair of fours? A pair of fours are a little different. These ones, you only split against the dealers 5 and 6. Right, now, I will say in the games where you're allowed to split like this, you do want to make sure that you're able to double after split, meaning after I split these fours against the dealer's 6, let's say I get maybe a 7, right? I want to make sure I can double down on that 7. Otherwise, that game is probably not worth playing for you, okay? That's the dealer's 4s. What about a dealer's 5s? If you have a pair of 5s, you are going to never split these. You're going to treat them like a hard 10, and that's a different part of the basic strategy chart, but a hard 10 is a double down. So you're gonna put out twice the money and receive exactly one more card. It's double down against a dealer's 2 through 9. So even though if the dealer has a 2, sometimes it's painful to double that down, that is actually the correct math decision to make. These are based off of millions and millions. Usually most simulations have a minimum of around 400 million hands that they have simulated. And it turns out that doubling down is the best decision against the dealer's 2 through 9. Against any other hand that the dealer has, a 10 through ace, you're just going to hit that. All right, that's 5s. What about a pair of 6s? A pair of 6s split against the dealer's 2 through 6. Okay, so you can see where those phrases come into play a little bit later that you'll learn in my card counting course if you choose to purchase that. A 6s, it's easy to remember because it's split 2 through 6. Whereas like 2s and 3s and 7s, like we learned earlier, 2s, 3s, and 7s are split against the dealer's 2 through 7. So I'll put that out for the next one. 2s, 3s, and 7s, if you have a pair of those, are split against dealers 2 through 7, just like before. A pair of 8s, this is one that most non-card counters know. We should always do what with our 8s? We should always split our 8s, no matter what the dealer's up card is. You're always going to split those. The reason why, I recently did a smaller YouTube video on this, is if we split our 8s, 16, if I don't split, is one of the worst starting hands you can have because there are the most cards that can bust you if you were to take one, as well as since the dealer has to stand on all 17s, just one more 17 would beat your 16 if you left that together. So by splitting, an 8 is a much better starting hand, especially like if I said earlier, if you could get like a 2 or a 3 and then double down, that's going to be even better for you, right? So that is an 8. Let's see here. What about a pair of 9s? 9s can be a little bit tricky sometimes. 9s are split against a dealer's 2 through 9, except for one card. And that one card is going to be except for a dealer's 7. So if you have a 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, or 9, if the dealer does, you're going to split those. But against the dealer's 7, you don't want to split that because think about what you have here. 9 and 9 is 18. If the dealer would have a 10 underneath their 7 or even an ace you're going to push. You both have 18s. If they had a 10 though, you would win just like that. So that's why you'd want to stand against 7. And then you'd also want to stand against the dealer's 10, jack, queen, king, and ace because you are probably not going to win on that hand. And so by putting double the money out there, that's not the best mathematical decision. You don't want to risk that extra money. All right, a couple more here. That's a pair of 9s, a pair of 10s. You're going to split win. Never split 10s, all right? So unlike 8s, which are always splits, 10s, you don't ever want to split those because no matter what the dealer has as their up card, you are very likely to win, all right? Unless they had blackjack, which case they would just reveal it right away. All right, and then the last one is a pair of aces. A pair of aces, just like 8s, you always want to split your aces against every single card here because when you split those, you only get one more card usually, but the chances are pretty high that's going to be a 10 valued card, and that's going to obviously win or at worst case push because the best that the dealer could have is a 21. All right, so that's just the pairs in our basic strategy chart here. The rest of my course goes over the other sections that you need to know, as well as you can download, like I said, this basic strategy charts. That's going to be your free gift. It also has the blank one that you can print out, and then those phrases are also going to be on there as well to help you remember it kind of in word form. All right, so that's the very first thing you need to learn as a card counter. In our next video, we're going to learn about what's called the count.